Supreme Court to discuss case that could expand Second Amendment rights. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear. But I want you to understand something. CNN is going to take the position to go against it, right? Because the problem that they're seeing is that they want gun control. They're more left-leaning, obviously. They pretend to be more centrist. They're not centrist, right? So they want people to have more. They definitely want more gun control. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? They don't do a very good job of hiding it. So let's get down into it. When Supreme Court justices meet behind closed doors Friday, a conference that comes 3 days after the country's latest mass shooting. Again, they're going to mention that, right? So that they can try to poison the well, right? Because a mass shooting doesn't necessarily coincide with the Second Amendment. Second Amendment was never intended for mass shooting. Second Amendment was intended to arm people against their government. But they're going to mention this. And mind you, I'm pro BLM. I am anti-cop as shit. You know, I've only found maybe in 1 month's time, I might find 1 or 2 good cops. The rest are shit. So understand, that's from the mind frame. That's the mind frame that I'm coming from. I'm coming from a mind frame of open carrying, as you can see. You know, in case you can't see that, let me kind of expand that a little bit. This is the mind frame that I'm coming from, right? Look, that's the mind frame that I'm coming from. All right, that I actually open carry. So the Supreme Court, right? We're gonna have some expansion of gun rights because of how the Supreme Court is lined up. They are scheduled to discuss whether to add a blockbuster issue to the docket for next term, the scope of the Second Amendment. The court has largely dodged the issue since issuing 2 landmark opinions in 2018. In 2008, I should say, in 2010, when it held for the first time that the Second Amendment protects an individual's right to keep and bear arms at home for self-defense. Yeah, obviously, because the government can come into your home, and in the Constitution, there's actual amendments in which the government can't just, in which soldiers cannot take up quarters in your home. That's one of the reasons why you have the Second Amendment, to ensure that they can't do that. So at least you have a gun in case they try to do that. Yeah, they might kill you, but you can at least try to defend yourself. Gun rights advocates and even some of the justices themselves have expressed frustration that the court has declined to further define the scope of the right, as lower courts across the country have upheld restrictions. 3 years ago, for example, Justice Clarence Thomas charged that the Second Amendment is a disfavored right in this court. And once again, I want you to see all the right-leaning ones here. This is why, you know, the political left and the Democrats don't want it to go to the Supreme Court, because they're one of their best bets, right? Well, 2 of their best bets is Justice Roberts and Gorsuch. Actually, it's not Clarence Thomas, it's not Kavanaugh, it's not Amy Coney Barrett, and it's definitely not this guy. So their best bets is actually John Roberts, who has actually sided with Democrats. He actually approved a lot of things Democrats have done, even though he's more right-leaning in some other areas. You know, if he were a politician, he would be what you would call a rhino. Okay, but Gorsuch is the wild card. Gorsuch is a textualist. So again, if you don't understand what a textualist is, let me give you a brief definition as to what a textualist is. This guy worries strictly about what's in the text. He doesn't give a shit about your opinion. Oh my God. He doesn't listen. Oh my God. Homeboy he voted to give Native Americans half of fucking Oklahoma, and wrote a dissenting opinion in which he justified it based on strictly on what's in the goddamn text. And guess who picked him? Donald fucking Trump. So again, when it comes to certain things, he's your only wild card. But you got 6 of them that's pretty much already in the bag. Gorsuch might side with you, but you got to work on him a lot. And I just don't see it happening. Because if he was as much of a textualist that was picked by Donald freaking Trump, by the way, picked by Donald Trump. If he's much of a textualist as he appears, he's going to interpret Second Amendment strictly as it is written. Strictly as it's written. And strictly as it's written, you know how that's going to go. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, after the court effectively dismissed one case last term, wrote that he hoped that the justices would vote to take up a new case soon. Still, last June, perhaps with the knowledge that there weren't 5 votes ready to decide, the court again declined to take up several new cases. With the addition of Justice Amy Coney Barrett, supporters of gun rights hope the justices will wade in now, and experts wonder if the justices are poised to add the issue to next term's docket. As a circuit judge, Justice Barrett showed a readiness to invoke the Second Amendment to strike down gun regulations, and she is likely to vote with the other justices eager to take up a new Second Amendment case. Jacob D. Charles, executive director of the Center of Firearms Law at Duke Law, said in an interview, even if Chief Justice John Roberts in the court's 3 liberals don't want to consider this particular case, the other 5 conservatives could work around him should they choose. The new case concerns a New York law governing licenses to carry concealed handguns in public. It requires residents show that they have what the state calls an actual and articulable need to do so. According to the Giffords Law Center, although most states continue to require a permit in order to carry a concealed weapon, many states now place few or no restriction on open carry. All states allow concealed carry, but a majority require a permit, and the standards for issuing such permits vary significantly. 3 states, California, Florida, and Illinois, and the District of Columbia, generally prohibit people from openly carrying firearms in public. 2 states, New York and South Carolina, prohibit openly carrying firearms but not long guns, and another 3 states, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and New Jersey, prohibit openly carrying long guns but not handguns. In the remaining states, people are generally allowed to openly carry firearms, although some states require a permit or license to do so. The law is consistent with the historical scope of the Second Amendment and directly advances New York's compelling interest in public safety and crime prevention. New York Attorney General Letitia James wrote in court papers. Since the 2008 and 2010 rulings, James argued courts have held that the right to carry firearms in public is not unlimited and can be subject to regulatory measures consistent with long-standing limitations on that right. Lower courts upheld the state's restrictions. The petitioners in the case are Robert Nash, Brandon Koch, and the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, represented by former Bush administration Solicitor General Paul Clement. So they're bringing this lawsuit against the state of New York, and I think and it was upheld by the lower courts. But I think what's going to happen when it's going to be heard by the Supreme Court, and we're going to have a new era of gun rights in this country. Clement urged, the justices to step in, arguing that the single most important unresolved Second Amendment question is whether an individual has a right to bear arms for self-defense, where confrontations often occur outside the home. The law makes it almost impossible for an ordinary individual to obtain a license, Clement said. Good, even impeccable moral character, plus a simple desire to exercise a fundamental right is not sufficient, he wrote, nor is living or being employed in a high crime area. Nash, for instance, requested to carry a handgun for self-defense after a string of robberies in his neighborhood, but was denied because he did not demonstrate a special need for self-defense. Wow, that is some bullshit. That's some bullshit. If the man just wants to carry a gun, let him carry a gun. The Second Amendment says you can carry a gun. And again, he was denied that because he did not demonstrate a special need for that. Okay, so only politicians and rich people can carry goddamn guns. Common citizens who are in high crime areas can't fucking do that. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's some authoritarian bullshit. That's some fucking clown shit.
Enough from the clown.
What kind of clown shit is this, man? Are we not in fucking America? Are we in communist goddamn China? Are we in communist China? Why do I need to demonstrate a special need for self-defense? Koch wanted a similar license and was able to cite his experience of participating in safety training courses. He too was denied. So he participated in safety training courses. He's a good gun owner, and he was fucking denied. Koch wanted a similar license and cited his participation in safety training courses. The Supreme Court could also weigh in incrementally. So again, like over time, they could pass up such a significant and controversial issue and wait, for example, for a more targeted law on a less controversial subject, such as a law concerning rights for people convicted of nonviolent crimes or laws related to mental health issues. So that is interesting. I'm very, very interested, very intrigued to see how this actually goes out. They're probably going to take it up because I'm going to tell you, Kavanaugh wants it, Barrett wants it, Clarence Thomas wants it. You know Gorsuch probably wants it. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And to be honest with you, no matter how people feel about this, I think it should have been happened, man, because we need gun rights in this country. If I can't trust cops, fuck it. I want my goddamn peace. I want my shit then. If I can't trust racists to not be racist, if I can't trust people to not call the cops on people for dumbass shit, then guess what? I want my peace then. When America changes, then maybe I won't see a need to carry my goddamn peace. But until then, lock and load, baby.